to our live session today. So today we'll be making a no-bake Nutella tart. Okay, and we'll just wait for a couple of minutes before more viewers come in to join us. And if you're already in, maybe we can do something different today. Instead of saying hello, you can type in one of your favorite desserts for me to know that you're here with me. Okay, so if you're in, maybe you can just type here. Okay, what kind of desserts do you usually like to eat? Okay, hello Jolene, hello Karina, hello Cheryl and Amanda. Okay, so I hope that you are enjoying your long weekend so far. Again, hope that you have also been trying out our recipes. Again, if you have tried our recipes already, please do remember to tag us on Instagram and Facebook. Okay, so we know that you have been trying out the recipes that we have demonstrated in front of you. Okay, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you here do enjoy eating Nutella. Okay, and today we're gonna make a very simple no-bake Nutella tart. Okay, so I believe Amanda, you like Nutella. Okay, so you like cake as well, Nas. Okay, hi Jonathan. Okay, so if you have been following us the previous few days, okay, you have know that we are really sweet recently because most of our desserts previously are all desserts. Okay, but I'm pretty sure all of us here love to eat desserts. Okay, and I believe that if you are here watching me, okay, you are a fan of desserts as well. Okay, because I believe everyone loves dessert. Who doesn't, right? They always say, no matter how full you are, there's always space for dessert. There's always room for desserts. It's like a small compartment within a drawer in a room. Okay, so today we're going to learn how to make a Nutella pie. Okay, hello Mary. Okay, let me just scroll through to see some of the other comments. Okay, so I see some of you like to eat cake, some of you like to eat ice cream. Okay, nice. Okay, so we'll just wait for a while more for more viewers to join us. Okay, so in the meantime, basically, if you have not know already, we're actually giving a giveaway, okay, in collaboration with Kinohimitsu. Himitsu. So it's actually a bird nest and a collagen giveaway. Okay, so if you don't already know how to participate in this giveaway, it's really simple. All you need to do is to like and share, okay, our social media giveaway post, okay, and then tag 3 of your friends that you want to share it with. Okay, and follow us on Instagram. Okay, and our IG handle is MinMac Group. Okay, so once you have done that, you will stand a chance to win the giveaways. Okay, so if not already done that, okay, hurry. Okay, since we are waiting for more viewers to come in, like, share, okay, and tag your friends, and that's how simple it is that you can win this giveaway. Okay, and if you also know friends who enjoy eating desserts and if they enjoy eating Nutella tart, okay, you can also share this current live video. Okay, so that more people can join us. Okay, so I think we shall start now. Hi, Iris. Okay, so today I'm making a no-bake Nutella pie. Okay, so let me just first introduce the ingredients that is needed. Okay, so there are two different steps that we need to take into consideration. So one is actually the tart base, and the other one would actually be the Nutella mixture. Okay, so let's introduce the ingredients needed for the tart base first. Okay, so what we are using today, okay, would actually be 5 pieces, okay, of these digestive biscuits. Okay, so you can actually just break them up into quarters so that it's easier for us to process them later on. All right. Okay, and then we'll require pecans. Okay, so for my base, okay, I'm actually adding pecans with the digestive biscuit, so it makes it a little bit different from the usual one that you are eating. Okay, so I'm here using about 100 grams of pecans. Okay, I'll also be using approximately about 2 to 3 tablespoons of my melted unsalted butter. Okay, and also lastly, for the tart base, require about a tablespoon of sugar. Okay, so later on, I'll share with you what are some ways that we have done to reduce the overall fat and sugar content of this Nutella tart. Okay, so now that we've introduced the ingredients for our tart, okay, now we'll go on, okay, to introduce the ingredients for our Nutella mixture. Okay, so of course we will need Nutella. Okay, we need about 300 grams of Nutella. Okay, so I've added in a little bit of my dark chocolate. Okay, so as you can see here, this is actually about 100 grams of melted dark chocolate chip. Okay, so again, this is actually to help reduce the sweetness that comes from the Nutella. Okay, I'll require about 250 grams of my low-fat cream cheese and about 200 grams of my whipping cream. Okay, so this one I've already whipped it earlier on. Okay, and I'll share with you how you get this consistency in a while. Okay, so that is our ingredients needed for the Nutella mixture. So with all of this ready now, we can start making our Nutella tart. Okay, so let me just see some other comments. Okay, hello Auntie Susan. Okay, so basically the first step is that we need to process our pecans, okay, and our digestive biscuit in a food processor like that. Okay, so I'm just first gonna process my pecans. Okay, so for pecans, okay, I've added in pecans, really because nuts have very good source of healthy fats. Okay, they are cardioprotective. Okay, so that's why I've added in pecans. But on your own, if you decide that you don't want to use pecans, you want to use some other nuts, okay, you can do so as well. Okay, do you have any suggestions on what other nuts can y'all choose to use? If you do have, just leave your comments below. Apart from pecans, what other nuts can you use as a tart base? Okay, so it's really quick and simple. Okay, so as you can see, this is how my pecans look like. Okay, so it depends on how you want the texture to be. If you really want to be really very fine, you can actually process it a bit longer. Okay, but I want still a bit of texture in there. Okay, that's why I didn't really blend it till too fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour it into my big mixing bowl. Okay, so apart from pecans, what other nuts can you use in replacement of pecans? Okay, any suggestions? Almond, walnuts, yes. Okay, so you can choose to use almond, you can choose to use walnut. Okay, these two are really great for desserts as well. Okay, so different types of nuts that you will be using would have very different nutritional profile. Okay, so if you are using almonds, they will be higher in calcium. Okay, if you are using your walnuts, they will be higher in your omega-3. Okay, so walnuts, almonds are all good suggestions as well. Okay, so now that I've actually processed, okay, my pecans, okay, next I'm gonna process my digestive biscuits. Okay, so for digestive biscuit itself, okay, just to be a little bit more careful, is that digestive biscuit actually do have quite a lot of hidden sugar. Okay, so because of the hidden sugar, okay, we should try to limit our consumption of it. So in today's recipe, I try to cut down on the digestive biscuit and replace it with a little bit more pecans. Okay, so that is one of the adjustments that I made to this recipe today. Okay, so I'm just gonna add in my other remaining digestive biscuit. Okay, so I have some other suggestions. So you can add peanut, pine nuts, or cashew nuts, or coconut. Okay, let me just... Okay, you can just use pine nuts, that's fine. Okay, but pine nuts are a bit harder to find. Okay, peanuts are not really recommended because in terms of peanuts, in terms of their taste, they don't really go so well with the desserts. And on top of that, peanuts tend to be slightly higher in their saturated fat content as compared to your walnuts, pecans, or even the almonds. All right, you can choose to use cashew nuts as well. Okay, but again, for cashew nuts, they tend to be slightly higher in their fat content. So if you want to use cashew nuts, you can. Okay, then you just need to be a bit mindful of the overall fat content of this Nutella pie. Okay, of course, coconut not recommended. Okay, can I use cream cracker? Okay, I've tried using cream cracker. Okay, the consistency wouldn't be as well as compared to using digestive biscuit. Okay, because digestive biscuit, they have after blending it, right, their consistency is actually really smooth and crumbly like that. If you are using normal cream cracker, right, be it the wholemeal cracker or the wheat cracker, they tend to be a bit more dry. Okay, it doesn't, it doesn't really stick as well or gel as well together. Yeah, so for Amanda, in this particular recipe, I do not really recommend the use of cream cracker because of the consistency itself. It will become really crumbly. Okay. Okay, so Elena, okay, you enjoy eating bobo cha-cha, nice. Okay, that's our Asian dessert. Okay, I love Asian desserts as well. Okay, so after we've actually mixed in, after we've processed our digestive biscuit, okay, this is how the end product looks like. So as you can see in my mixing bowl here, okay, my digestive biscuit is really fine. Okay, well, my pecans here are still slightly coarse. Okay, so to have a little bit more mixture. Okay, so now that I have all my dried ingredients, okay, done. Okay, what I'm gonna do next is that I'm gonna add in my sugar, okay, as well as my unsalted butter. Okay. So for the sugar, I'm just gonna use 1 tablespoon. Okay, I've actually cut down the sugar content, okay, by about 75%. Reason being, like I've mentioned earlier, okay, the digestive biscuit itself already do have sugar content. Okay, so one way to do that is really to know your ingredients well, okay, to know where are the sources of hidden sugar, and just try to cut down on your table sugar as much as possible. Okay, so for today, I'm just adding in 1 tablespoon of sugar into my tart mixture. Okay, and just give it a good mix like that. Okay, so after you have done that, okay, what we'll do is that we'll add in a pinch of salt. Okay, just a pinch of salt. Okay, and then we're gonna add in our unsalted butter. Okay, so for unsalted butter, okay, you can melt it beforehand and you add it in slowly using a tablespoon. Reason being that you don't want your mixture to be too wet, neither do you want it to be too dry. Okay, so what will be a good gauge is to use a tablespoon and you add them in slowly, okay, and you mix them up. So I'm just gonna add 2 tablespoons first. Okay, then I will actually mix them up to see how is the texture like. Okay, hello Chelsea. Okay, for the sugar, okay, I'm actually just using normal fine white sugar. Okay, so fine white sugar will be recommended, okay, as compared to the coarse white sugar. Okay, because this is a no bake, so we don't want the coarse sugar to affect the texture of the tart base. So I would recommend you to use the regular fine sugar. Okay, for the salt, of course, you can choose to use table salt or sea salt. Both also fine. Okay, both works fine. Okay. Okay, so now that I've actually mixed in the ingredients already, okay, as you can see, my base is a little bit moist, okay, but it's still quite crumbly. Okay, so now it's a time where I can actually add a bit more of my melted butter. Okay, so I'm just going to add another 2 tablespoons. Okay, to achieve the consistency that I want it to be. Okay. So just give it a good mix. Okay, so another modification that we have did to this recipe, okay, is to cut down the amount of fat. Okay, in the original recipe, it actually calls for at least about half a cup, okay, of this butter. But I've actually just reduced it to about 3 tablespoons of this unsalted butter. Okay, so that's another way, okay, for you to cut down on your fat content. Okay, because the thing about dessert is that we can still enjoy desserts, of course, that's for sure. Okay, but what you want to be really mindful of is really just the sugar as well as the fat content of your desserts. Okay, so we're just gonna give it a good mix. Okay, so as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit moist and crumbly. Okay, so this is the kind of consistency that we want it to be. Okay, so now that we are done, we're gonna set it aside. Okay, then we'll move on to make our Nutella mixture. Okay, so now I'm just gonna set this aside. Okay, and I'm gonna make my Nutella mixture. Okay, so the Nutella mixture, what we'll require is the whipping cream. Okay, so I believe, okay, you've learned from Jolene from her previous episode, okay, that there's a difference between heavy cream and whipping cream. Okay, so basically the main difference between heavy cream or heavy whipping cream, they are the same. Okay, they're actually higher in their fat content. So typically, if you're going for the whipping cream, they are slightly lower in their fat content. Okay, so that's just for you to note. Okay, when you're buying your whipping cream, just try to buy the normal whipping cream, not the heavy ones. Okay, so all you need to do, if you don't have an electric whisk, okay, you can use a normal whisk like that. Okay, a tip for you is that you can make sure that your whisk and your bowl are cooled. Okay, so that when you whisk your whipping cream, okay, it will start to peak faster. Okay, so what I've done is that I've actually just used my hand, okay, and you lift it up like that. Okay, as you can see, you want to introduce air in there. So you lift your whisk up like that, okay, and you whisk for approximately about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, and this is the consistency that you'll get. Okay, so as you can see, it starts to stiffen already. Okay, just showing you how it looks like. Okay, so this is the consistency that you want it to be. Okay, can I use brown sugar? Of course, you can choose to use brown sugar instead of white sugar. That's fine as well. Okay, so with regards to brown sugar and white sugar, a lot of people do have questions whether white sugar is better or brown sugar is better. Okay, in terms of their sugar content, okay, they're actually relatively similar in their sugar content, but their main difference is that brown sugar is less processed. Okay, so for some people, they prefer to use the brown sugar instead of the white sugar. And because brown sugar, they are made from cane, so they do have a slightly nicer taste. Yeah. So for you, okay, Christine, okay, you can choose to use either white sugar or brown sugar. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so now that I have my whipping cream whipped up, okay, I'm just adding in my dark chocolate. Okay. So again, for dark chocolate and Nutella, okay, what you want to know is that in terms of their fat content, okay, they're actually pretty much similar in terms of their fat content. The difference here is really in terms of the sugar content. Okay, the sugar content in your dark chocolate is actually about 50% lower as compared to your Nutella. Okay, and that's another modification that we have did to reduce the sugar content of this Nutella tart. Okay, so now I've added in my melted chocolate. Okay, next I'm gonna add in my Nutella. Okay, so for Nutella, I'm actually using about 300 gram of Nutella. Okay, so some of you might ask what is the portion of this tart that I'm making? Okay, this tart is approximately about 12 to 15 slices. Okay, according to your own appetite, it can serve up to about 12 to 15 slices. Okay, so I'm just adding in my Nutella. Okay, so I'm leaving 50 grams behind. Okay, so now that my Nutella is in, just give it a good mix. Okay, in the meantime, I see some questions. Okay, so we have a question. Instant whipped cream squeezed out from the nozzle has more fat and sugar and chemicals. Okay, for those that are readily available to squeeze out of a nozzle, okay, in terms of their fat content, okay, yes, they might be slightly higher in their fat content, but for those kind of whipping cream, they are mainly used as a frosting instead of within the dessert itself. So for example, if you want to make this Nutella cheesecake or Nutella pie and you want to have frosting at the top, then that's where people will actually use the one with the nozzle. Otherwise, people would usually buy those that are served in a carton. Okay, those are the ones that we'll be using for desserts like that. Okay, then raw cane sugar got any difference? Okay, so raw cane sugar, likewise, okay, they are actually less processed, but in terms of sugar content wise, they are actually generally all pretty much similar. Okay. Okay, beside whipped cream, what others can be used? Okay, so if you don't want, whipped cream is essential in this recipe because we actually want the whipped cream to let your tart be less dense. Okay, and because of the introduction of air, it makes your texture and consistency better. Okay, so I would still suggest that you use whipped cream. Okay, but if you don't want to use that much of the whipped cream, you can actually cut down the amount of whipped cream. Okay, but it would still be necessary for a recipe like that because it's a no-bake dessert. Hence, we do require whipped cream to actually allow the consistency to really hold up. Okay, so can I just add Nutella and no chocolate? Of course you can. Okay, but if you just add Nutella alone without the chocolate, then what goes up would be the sugar content. Okay, so like I've mentioned, okay, the dark chocolate here is really to reduce the amount of sugar that we're adding into this Nutella tart. Okay, last but not least, I'm gonna add in my cream cheese. Okay, again, for my cream cheese today, I'm actually using the low-fat cream cheese. Okay, so this low-fat cream cheese approximately 40% lower in their fat content, okay, as compared to your regular cream cheese. And a tip for you is that if you are using this cream cheese to make your Nutella pie, okay, make sure that you leave your cream cheese in a room temperature so that it's easier for you to mix it up later on. Okay, so now I've added in my cream cheese. So let me just give it a good mix. Okay, in the meantime, I still see some other questions. Okay, can I use avocado to substitute the chocolate? Okay, so in terms of avocado, avocado do have fat as well, okay, which you can use to substitute the chocolate. However, with that said, okay, in terms of the flavor, it might change a little. As you know, avocado, the flavor is a bit more buttery and a bit more nutty. So if you are using avocado, okay, you need to blend your avocado beforehand. Then I would also suggest that maybe, okay, in terms of the proportion, you cannot really add in 100 grams of avocado directly. Maybe you can add about, I would say, 50 to 80 grams of avocado to prevent the avocado taste from being too overpowering, okay, overpowering the taste of the Nutella or the chocolate. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Xiaoxia. Okay. Okay, so let me just mix it up first before I start answering other questions. Okay, so I've added in my cream cheese already. So now just give it a really good mix. Okay, so after mixing up this cream cheese mixture, this Nutella cream cheese mixture, all we need to do is really to get ready a pie pan, okay, or a dish. Okay, so I'm just using a aluminum tray like that, about 10 inch. Okay, so this can serve up to about 12 to 15 slices. Okay, so let me just whisk it until it's really smooth. Okay, before I start to mold it up and put them into the tray. Okay. Okay, so we have another question from Cheryl. Can I use milk chocolate instead? Is there higher sugar content? Of course, okay, you can use milk chocolate, but if you are using milk chocolate, then it wouldn't be very much different from using 100% Nutella because the sugar content would actually be comparative. Okay, so the reason why we are using dark chocolate here is really because they have lower sugar content. Okay, so to answer you, Cheryl, you can choose to use milk chocolate, but it wouldn't be much of a difference as compared to using 100% Nutella. Okay, and the thing about chocolate, okay, is that did you know, okay, I'm pretty sure you do know chocolate contains cocoa, okay, and dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa here actually helps to, you know, relieve stress and anxiety, okay, because of the fact that when you consume these chocolates, okay, your body starts to produce endorphins, which are the happy hormones. So a lot of times you realize that when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling lousy, when you're feeling sad, okay, you tend to crave, okay, for things like chocolate, and after eating it, it does make you feel a bit better. Okay, and what's going on in your body is really because the happy hormones are reacting, okay, so that you feel better at the end of the day. Okay, but the thing about cocoa is that a lot of times cocoa-based products, you know, can be hidden in those caloric-dense snack bars, chocolates, and desserts. So what we really want is to use the 70% dark chocolate instead of regular milk chocolate. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Cheryl. Okay. Okay, so now that my mixture is all mixed up like that, okay, so you can see it's really smooth without any lumps. Okay, so now I'm all ready, okay, to scoop them into my tray. Okay, so what I'm gonna put on my gloves. Okay, and I'm gonna start to mold my tart. Okay, so I see some other questions. Okay, is cheese necessary? I don't take cheese. In this case, cheese is necessary because cheese is what helps your tart to solidify. So if you're using 100% Nutella tart, you'll notice that after you refrigerate it, right, it becomes really, it can turn watery quite fast. Yeah, and also because for this recipe, I'm not using any gelatin at all. So the cream cheese is really the factor that will help to solidify my tart. So in this case, if you cannot eat cheese, if you don't take cheese, you can actually omit the cheese, but you might need to add in gelatin, okay, in order for your tart to be slightly firmer. Okay, so that is the answer your question, Christine. Okay. Okay, hello Yong Lai. Hello Lai Yong. Okay, so basically now, okay, I'm just going to create my tart base. Okay, so I'm just going to use my hand. Okay, and just mash it up a little. Okay, it feels slightly a bit crumbly, so I'm just going to add in just another half a teaspoon of butter. Okay, so once that is done, I shall lay in my tart pan. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to put it in. Okay, you can put it in portions. Okay, and what you need is really just to flatten them. Okay, and then push it up towards the side so that your sides are filled up as well. Okay, so you can use your fingers, okay, but if you want it to be more evenly spread out, you can actually use a flat bottom measuring cup or a flat bottom bottle, okay, in order to help you to fix them in shape. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay it right at the bottom first. Okay, once my bottom is done, I will try to add a little bit more by the side to push the crumbs up. Okay, so for the first layer, it looks something like that. Okay, as you can see, okay, just spread them evenly, not too thick. Okay, so now I'm gonna put them by the side. Okay, and do the same. Okay, so we have another question. Okay, hold on, just let me fix my tart first before I start answering the other questions. Okay, so you don't want the tart to be too thick, okay, so that you actually do make sure that you spread them out evenly. Okay. Okay, and you can just do them slowly. If you don't want to make it into a huge tart like that, okay, you can actually make them into individual small tarts. So the same thing applies. You can just use probably like a muffin tray, individual muffin tin, and the same thing applies. So that is slightly maybe a better idea if you're actually hosting like parties. You want them to be in really like bite size, then that's what you can do. Or alternatively, this is the bigger version, which you can as well, just need to slice them up. Okay, so maybe some of you might be thinking, how many calories would there be in this Nutella tart, right? Okay, so how many calories would there be in the Nutella tart? Okay, one slice like that, okay, is about 300 calories. Okay, so you can still enjoy your desserts, of course, that's for sure. But just remember, okay, not to consume them in large quantities. Okay, so if you really want to have your dessert, share it with someone, okay, or reduce the portion size so that you can actually still enjoy it, okay, but at the same time not bursting your calories. Okay, so my last stage. Okay, what is my tray size? Is about 10 inch. Okay, so Lily, my tray size is about 10 inch. Okay, so I'm just going to use my last bit of mixture. Okay, and then spread them evenly. Okay, so as I was mentioning about gelatin previously, okay, so this Nutella pie, because I'm not using any gelatin, okay, so once you remove them from the fridge, you need to eat them immediately. Don't leave it out in the room temperature for too long, otherwise you'll start to notice that your tart would start to melt pretty fast. Okay, so a tip for you is to freeze it overnight. Okay, and once you remove them from the refrigerator, okay, you can actually consume them immediately. Don't leave it out in the room temperature for too long. Okay, some of you might ask, can I freeze the tart instead? Yes, you can freeze the tart, but you just need to know that when you freeze your tart, there will be ice starting to form on the surface of the tart. And again, it might affect the texture and the quality of the tart. Okay, so I would personally prefer to refrigerate it rather than to freeze it. Okay, so now that I'm done, okay, with my tart base, I'm just gonna lift it up to show you a little. Okay, so if at ever one point of time you realize that there's not enough tart to form, okay, around the sides of the tray, what you can do is that you can slowly press from the center, move your biscuits up a little, okay, so they can actually fill the sides quite well. Okay, so I'm just going to press it down a little bit more, okay, and then we are done with this tart base. Okay, so as you can see, okay, this is the tart base. Okay, so now that we are done with the tart base, okay, we will now, okay, pour in our Nutella mixture. Okay, just let me to set this aside. Okay, 300 calories per piece once in a while is okay. All right. Of course, okay, desserts, generally speaking, okay, any desserts would cost you approximately at least 300 calories or more. Okay, other recipes, okay, for the Nutella tart may actually go up to about 400 calories. So at the end of the day, size matters, and the few tips that I've actually shared with you to reduce the fat content and the sugar content are also key, okay, in terms of helping to reduce the calories in this Nutella tart. Okay, so I'm just going to pour my mixture in. Okay, we have another question. So to reduce the 300 calories, okay, does increasing the amount of dark chocolate and reducing the Nutella amount help? Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, so in terms of the calories of your dark chocolate versus your Nutella, they are actually pretty much similar in their calories. Okay, the only difference between dark chocolate and Nutella is really the sugar content. So in this case, if you were to increase your dark chocolate and to decrease your Nutella, actually the calories wise do not really change that much. Yeah, so at the end of the day, what really helps to control the portion size, the calories, is really the portion size itself. Okay, so now that I've added in my mixture, okay, so I'm going to spread it out evenly. Okay, in the meantime, I'll take out a pre-prepared tart, okay, to show you how the end product actually looks like. Okay, so you want to make sure that you actually fill the sides, okay, of the tart, okay, the Nutella mixture. You want to cover the sides. So it's okay if, let's say, the sides do not have enough of the digestive biscuit. It's all right to cover it. Okay, so you just want to make sure all the sides are evenly spread out as well. Okay, so I hope that answered your question, Cheryl, with regards to the proportion, okay, of the dark chocolate versus the Nutella. Okay, so of course I've added in dark chocolate, so the taste might be a little bit bittersweet. So according to your taste preference, if you don't like it to be too bitter, okay, then you can actually adjust, okay, your Nutella as well as your dark chocolate proportions accordingly. Okay, but the total volume should remain the same because this is the volume needed, okay, to ensure that your tart is completely filled up like that. Okay. So we have a tip. So I can skip rice, eat only veg and protein for lunch, then I can eat the desserts. Yes, of course, at the end of the day, healthy eating is really all about proportion. Okay, so if you do know that you're going to indulge a little bit more, just be a bit more mindful of your other food intake within that remaining day. Okay, so that is a good tip there, Lily. Okay, so I'm just going to push them to the sides. Okay, and then I'm done. Okay, so as you can see, okay, it's nicely filled up, okay, towards the sides of the tart. Okay, so this is how it will look like. So once this is done, what you need to do is to put a cling wrap over it, okay, refrigerate it overnight, okay, if you want to have a more solid consistency, okay, and then it is ready to serve. So just a tart like that, you can actually serve up to 12 to 15 packs. Okay, so now that I'm going to set this aside and show you how the end product actually looks like. Okay, so this is how the end product looks like. Okay, as you can see, even without gelatin, it can actually be really firm like that. Okay, so it is recommended for you to refrigerate it overnight. Okay, so just going to Okay, show you the consistency of it. Okay, and very chocolatey. Okay, but at the same time, because the nuts have actually some texture, okay, that is well mixed together with the digestive biscuits. Okay, so at least it's not so like gelato. Okay, so it's a really nice and yummy Nutella pie here. No bake, very simple. All you need is 30 minutes to prepare this. Okay, the only time here, or the only agony will be the time waiting for your Nutella tart to set. Okay, so with that, right, I hope that you will prepare okay, simple Nutella, no bake Nutella tart. Yes, it really is yummy. Okay, and it really looks nice. Okay, so I hope that you can try it. If you have tried it already, please do tag us on Instagram or Facebook. Okay, so I know that you have our recipes. Okay, so remember, okay, you can still enjoy eating your desserts. Okay, just remember the portion size matters. Use the fat. For today, I reduced the amount of butter. Again, I introduced some of the healthier fats from the nuts instead of just the butter itself. Okay, and other ways here is to add in some dark chocolate to reduce the sugar content. Okay, so I hope that you have enjoyed today's session. Okay, and go and try this. It's really so amazing that it's life-changing. Okay, so till then, stay safe and you'll see Jolene tomorrow. Okay, she'll be making another fruity dessert. Okay, tutti frutti roll and apple donuts. You must be thinking what apple donuts is all about, right? So you need to catch her tomorrow at 12:30. Okay, with her son showing you how to prepare this healthier fruity dessert that is kids friendly. Okay, so till then, okay, I have last one question. You mean put in the fridge overnight will do? Yes. Okay, it's a no-bake Nutella tart. So you just need to put this in the fridge overnight, and this is what the end product looks like. Okay, very simple. Okay, so till then, stay safe, and I'll see you again on Monday. Bye!